Well, because so many people didn't like when I called out South Shore 12 last night, I'm going to call them out again. And the reason why? Obvious bias here. 2 fires. The one that destroys the home in West Islip gets plenty of coverage. The one that severely damages the Greenvale Townhouse Diner barely gets any coverage at all. So this is exactly the kind of thing I mean with South Shore 12. So I know this diner very well. It's a very popular diner in Greenvale, and it was severely damaged in a fire. This should get a minute or two of coverage, but it doesn't. This is
so new.
They barely cover it.
This morning, an overnight fire at a popular Nassau County diner. Here was the scene at Greenvale Townhouse. Fire officials say that these flames broke out around 3 o'clock this morning. Officials believe that the fire started in the kitchen area and then it spread to the roof. The fire was knocked down just moments later. Police say no one was hurt here, and that fire also remains under investigation.
So they barely cover that. But this gets 2 minutes and 7 seconds of coverage because it happened in West Islip, where really important people live.
Before you take a look at these flames,
so they're all over this,
of
course.
Now displaced after that fire teared through their home and destroyed it. Police say this all happened last night in West Islip, and thankfully we are told that no one was hurt. News 12's Logan Crawford is outside of the house right now, and Logan, you spoke with a homeowner. What a devastating sight.
I know it's devastating for the homeowner. What about Greenvale Townhouse Diner? I guess nobody cares about them, right? No, of course not.
This is the home here on Milligan Lane in West Islip. You can see that the windows and the front door are boarded up and the damage to the front of the house from the fire. Now, we spoke with the homeowner off camera who tells us that he got out okay.
That is a bad fire.
This home on Milligan Lane in West Islip.
It was chaos, but I'm just glad everybody's okay.
Again, happens there, they're going to cover it. But if that same fire happened somewhere else on Long Island that wasn't in the South Shore Enclave, they wouldn't cover it. But when it affects these people, they're going to cover it.
We're told the fire broke out around 11:30 last night. Fire crews responded and were able to bring the fire under control. Artie Soto lives next door and says the heat from the fire warped the siding of his house.
All that.
He says it burned down his fence and part of his garage. The side of his car parked near the burning house was damaged too.
When I came in the kitchen, I looked out, I was like, oh, it was all orange in my kitchen. I was like, where that thing is going, man?
The homeowner declined to talk on camera, but tells us he made it out of the house okay and went to the hospital as a precaution. We spoke to his brother, who tells us he lives right next door.
And then the neighbor coming up to my door, and he told me that. Oh, well. So it was like a surprise like that. So I was like, what?
The brother says the house used to be their uncle's and has been in the family for about 70 years. The 2 brothers have lived on the block for decades themselves. They tell us a neighbor a few houses down will do the work to rebuild the home.
Everybody's very helpful so far. So, I mean, I have room here, so you can stay here.
It's good that they're helping each other. That's very good. But what about Greenvale?
And the official cause of the fire is still under investigation. In West Islip, Suffolk County, Logan Crawford, News 12.
Here's the deal, South Shore 12. Why can't you send reporters to both of those stories and cover them? Why are you only covering the one in West Islip and basically ignoring the one that's affecting an institution in Greenvale? The Greenvale Townhouse Diner has been there a very long time. And it's funny because when there was a fire at Peter Pan Diner, Google this, they were all over it. Yep, they were all over it. That got 1 minute and 55 seconds. This gets 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
Damage done at an iconic Long Island diner. It went.
So they cover that extensively, but when something happens in Greenvale and puts that diner out of business, they don't care. And people don't like when I speak up about this stuff. They don't like it because it's obvious what's going on. And we can't be quiet about it. We just can't. Not while the South Shore gets all the attention and everybody else is just forgotten. There's more to Long Island than just the South Shore. But apparently this network is back to their old ways again, ignoring us and gearing to the South Shore. And Here's another story they barely covered, too. Elmont man charged with kidnapping.
Man is facing kidnapping charges this morning after barricading himself and a victim inside of his home during a standoff
This
with
is a big
police.
deal. Why do you barely cover
Police
it?
responded to Locust Wood Boulevard around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They say 30-year-old Lyodell Sutherland refused to let a 22-year-old woman leave his house. They say that he also hit...
Sleep, they don't even have a cameraman there. My God, you are pathetic. 10 people arrested for trespassing on LARR tracks in Riverhead. Barely covered.
People are facing charges for trespassing on the Long Island Railroad
Well,
tracks.
that's middle of the island, too. We don't care.
Riverhead police say that
I'm sure if it happened on the South Shore, they'd be all over it.
Police conducted extra patrols in response to
There's Erin
pedestrian
Colton from
strikes there.
Montauk. She's really preppy and really arrogant.
60 people hit by trains in Suffolk County since 2020. Now, 10 people were arrested on March 5th. We're told that new crackdown is going to continue.
They also don't care about gang crime either. That only got 26 seconds
Most
as well.
wanted
You
fugitives
get the
facing
idea.
federal charges.
Yes, they do
on-
cover some stories in the middle of the island, but by and large, they give preferential treatment covering South Shore stories, while some pretty important things going on in the middle of the island, and the North Shore, they just flat out ignore. They barely covered that gas leak in Huntington, too, so... Yeah, I know how much people don't like it when I call out South Shore 12. Well, I'm sorry. They failed once again, and they will get called out every time they pull this kind of crap, because you call yourself News 12 Long Island, and you should be covering all of Long Island, not just the South Shore. But it's obvious why you're doing it. This is all about all the stuff I talk about. That's why people want me silenced, but I will not be silenced.